Hello and welcome back. We're back again today, finally busting out the old Wicked Edge sharpener again here. It's been a considerable amount of time per usual these days. I don't really, man, I don't keep up on my knives as much as I used to, and I've stopped buying knives like a maniac. However, I did just buy a new knife. And I was just got it in the mail today, and I thought I'd bust it out and show it to you guys. And this is a different take on knives compared to what I usually get. And it is a White River. So I'm super impressed first and foremost with the packaging. I have taken this out, so I have seen it, but I just wanted to show the box. Like, this is legit cool. Like, it's just stapled together or whatever, but it's a really nice little sealed box, burnt and everything, and made in USA, guaranteed for life, just exactly the way it ought to be. Nice tight squeeze going in there. And here is what we've got. Comes with a card. It's a 10-inch fillet knife, and most importantly for me, it's made out of S35 steel. Thank you, DP. You did a very nice job on this knife, whoever you are. But yeah, so basically, I just bought a new pellet smoker. And I've never had a pellet smoker before, but I plan on working my way up into doing some larger cuts of meat, i.e. brisket. I'm really wanting to do my own briskets, and so I'm going to start small and do some things like pork loins and chickens and all that kind of stuff. But I got this in the mail today, and I got my smoker, which is just outside right there. I'm looking at it right now. It's a Pit Boss pellet smoker. I just got that, and I just got done seasoning, and it's cooling down from its first ever heat up to, well, technically second. So, but anyways, so I wanted a big knife to be able to work on these big cuts of meat. And we have a couple big knives, but if you guys are users of kitchen knives and just normal plain Jane stuff that you can buy from Target or Kohl's or wherever, or even nicer, like more expensive knives, kitchen knives, they just suck. Like the steel is soft, they're not ground very well, and you can get a nice sharp edge on them, but it just doesn't ever last. Like, I even bought my wife, all she likes to use is a paring knife, like a small little paring knife. I bought her a nice Boker paring knife, and it's like, that's the knife that I sharpen the most. I mean, she uses it a lot, but like, it goes dull just like that. So anyways, I wanted a nice kitchen knife, fillet knife specifically, that that was made of a proper, like, folding knife steel that I knew that would last longer than the cheap garbage steel that are most of the knives that we have are. I think we have like Martha Stewart knives right now, so they're just junk. Anyways, back to this one. Let's check her out. Look at this. That is a freaking knife. This is really nice, by the way. Kydex, made by the folks at White River. Look at this. How beautiful is that knife? Look at that. Let's check the thickness. Crap, I forgot I was going to bring out my TRM Atom, which is like my thin pocket knife that I really like to go to, a nice slicey one. So I thought I would compare it to this, but I forgot to grab it. So it does have some flex to it. It's not super springy though, but it does have some flex to it. But man, oh man, what a beautiful grind on this thing, and the way it feels in hand. So obviously I have huge hands, right? It doesn't hang out much right here. My wife asked, she's like, is that handle even big enough for you? I think the handle looks small in comparison to the blade, right? Like, it's a good size handle, but when you've got, this is the 10-inch, so they make this knife in a 6, 8, and 10, and I went ahead and got the big boy just because I wanted the big boy. So I think that kind of makes the handle look small. That being said, it does just barely, I mean, I can comfortably, very comfortably and loosely get a nice 4-finger grip on it. It does have a decent palm swell to it. Like it feels good in hand, but one of my favorite things is they take this and taper it down. So like you can really like pinch on it. I don't know how much pinching I'm gonna do on this big, huge knife, but like that's one of my favorite touches. But the transition from steel to handle material is perfectly smooth. And right in here in particular, I think they did a really, really excellent job. I mean, it's you can barely even feel where the steel stops in the G10 or whatever this is. I can't remember. What do they call this? Rich light? Rich light. It's maple and rich light handle. So there's a few options. This is what I chose. But yeah, made it with S35 VN. So, and also just as a guy who knows his way around a sharp knife, this is really, really quite sharp. This is like easily Essie sharp. So in my experience, Essie knives come just screaming sharp from the factory. This is at least that sharp, if not sharper. And it also, I haven't really looked too terribly close, but if for the people that know my channel, they know that I really look for symmetry. I wouldn't say that it's perfectly symmetrical, but it's pretty darn close. So overall, just as far as out of the box, this thing is wonderful. I like, you know, the feeling you get when you get something new and you first hold it in your hand and you're like, damn, that's nice. Like, damn, this knife is really nice. It just feels super good, super good. So it was like the first time you hold like a really nice revolver or something like that, and it just fits your hand great, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Well, this is what's up. So this is my very first White River knife. But if it continues to impress me as much as it has impressed me over the last couple hours that I've had it, and granted I haven't cut a single thing with it or blah, 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 any of that, but right out of the box, this thing is a stud. And look at that. I mean, just how sexy is that? Fuck. Okay, anyways, enough talking. Let's unnecessarily sharpen it. So that's kind of what I do. I know there's some people would probably look at this and be like, well, if it's so screaming sharp right out of the box, why would you go ahead and sharpen it? It's like, well, because I'm a knife sharpener, that's why. So I want to protect my pretty finish, so I'm going to put some tape about halfway down. I don't know what kind of angle I'm going to put this at. I'm going to try to do, well, I am going to do the marker trick and try to get it as close to the factory grind as possible. But we'll see how that goes. So I was just taping roughly halfway here. I might try to keep it just a touch closer towards the back, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Oops. Need my goofy ruler here. Because I do have my notebook of all the things here ready to record where I keep this. Okay. Now, cleverly, I fold the tape over so I can handle the knife without any risk of cutting myself. Man, that thing is, this dude is long. Okay, so for those of you keeping it track at home, if you have a White River 10-inch fillet knife and you wish to sharpen it on your wicked edge using the goofy ruler that they give you. Oh, come on. I have this set up at E1/2. So all the way out here. So that, I think that's the farthest documented knife tip that I have. So let's see. This is a White River Knives Filet 10-inch. Just so I don't confuse it with all the other White River knives that I have, right? Let's see, so we use the top holes per usual, and we use tape per usual, and we have it out to E and 1/2. And now we get to find what angle we're gonna be at. So I'm gonna peel the excess of this tape off of here. All right, get this out of the way, get that out of the way, put this back where it lives, put that back where it lives, move that, maybe come over here, grab these. Let's go ahead and take the old trusty marker here. It's gonna be interesting, whoops, to see any angle changes. From one end of this knife to the other, just because it's so long. But I gotta tell you, man, from just eyeballing it, this thing looks spot on as far as bevel height from front to back. Like, it's the most consistent I think I've seen in quite some time, if not ever. This is a hugely impressive knife. Like, they did a really good job on this knife. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and we'll use 1000 grit to just find our angle here. Let's hope that it's been forever, so let's hope that we have battery, and we do. Perfect. I think I replaced it not that terribly long ago, at least for me. Not that it's been getting much use lately. So there's 22 3/4 right out of the box. So let's just see what that does. I was thinking, I've been thinking, okay, so that's on the very edge of the knife. So that does not capture the entire bevel. Okay. Oh, but it does switch from up here, right about, man, this thing's so long, it's hard to keep in the, so about, right here, it's about maybe, I would say 1.5 inches to 2 inches from the very tip. It switches from the stone hitting the very edge of the knife to hitting the entire bevel to hitting the shoulder up at the tip. So right up there, that's where the change was. So that was 22 3/4. But like I was saying, I was trying to figure out what angle I wanted to keep this at. This is a pretty thin knife, like it's a fillet knife, right? Like I'm not gonna be out chopping wood with this, and it's ground. I mean, it is really slim right behind the edge. So I think in this case, I could probably get away with more of a open. The word is losing me right now. I'm lost on the word, but a little bit less acute angle on it to try to give it a little bit more, the edge a little bit more stability and reliability, like i.e. it's gonna last longer. It's not gonna be so dainty thin that it's gonna be miserable trying to maintain it. So maybe to keep it, since it's so thin right behind the edge, I can actually keep the actual cutting edge nice and wide, just to kind of in an attempt to make it last longer. I am a little worried, I know it's S35 and I was just going on and on and on about doing this already. I was going to wipe the dust. I got some dust on the edge, but I don't want to wipe my marker off just yet. I'm a little bit worried that, okay, so that's at 23 3/4, so we need to bring that in. Let's take it into 22 and see what's up. But I'm curious to see how this will last up against bones, like if I do a prime rib or cutting ribs, or if I get into a chicken or turkey or something and I'm cutting the joints, you know, around the thighs and things like that. How this thing's going to hold up. But we'll just see. Okay, there's 22 degrees right there. Let's see what she does over here. So I'm really not pressing hard at all right now. The thing is, it does have a little bit of a flimsiness to it, right? Like you want your fillet knife to flex and move around bones and things like that. That's part of the intent of it. We also want it to not deform or anything like that. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing. So even at 22, as compared to 22 3/4 over here, I'm at the top, right on the cutting edge, and then I get to right here, and it transitions to the entire bevel, and then it transitions to just the shoulder right up there. So I'm thinking maybe just to kind of blend all of this together, maybe, maybe I just rock a 22. I kind of am feeling the 22 degrees. So let's just do that. So I'm going to get this one in check over here at 22. We'll see what we got to do here. So that should be 22 3/4. Do I have enough here? I'll just move this in here. Man, it's been forever since I've done this. Sometimes I forget how much I enjoy sharpening knives. I've got a few of my pocket knives that are in need of a touch-up, so maybe I'll do some videos of touching up some existing knives that I have. So, okay, so that's 22. I just kind of want to see where this gets me here. I wonder also how much of this, because this knife has flex, that like the further away you get from the clamp here, the more it bends and flexes. I try to stabilize, so like you'll see me, as I'm on this side, you'll see me trying to balance it, push back on this side just in an attempt to keep it nice and perfect and smooth and all that, but you know, it's just is what it is really. So, okay, that looked okay. So I'm gonna clean off all of that funk, and I am going to start on 200 grit. We're just gonna get to it and go 200 grit. And I don't think that I plan on taking this up very high, just because in my experience, when you're cutting food, vegetables, meat, whatever, a little bit of toothiness right at the initial, when you very first start to cut, a little bit of toothiness to start it, and the cut really works well, and then let the blade geometry do the rest of the cutting. So this is this quite thin knife. And so if I leave the edge just a touch toothy, I'm gonna reapply marker since I wiped it off when I was getting the dust off from the 1000 grit. But anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm thinking I'm gonna stop at about 600 grit and then finish it with a light stropping from my kangaroo straps, which I conveniently left inside. Perfect. Okay, so that went really quite well. Back here for the most part, there's a little bit more shoulder work that I think I'd like to do back here. And then I do need to work from the shoulder up to the tip, to the cutting edge rather, from about 1.5 inches down and out, like we expected. So I'm gonna do what I can, and I'm not pressing real hard just because I'm not in a hurry to get this knife done. I'm trying to remove the minimum amount of metal to set my edge, and that's really about it. Some kind of loud ass truck outside. I don't know if it's a delivery truck or not. It was kind of funny, so just like I said today, I just got my pellet smoker in the grill, or in the mail, showed up by FedEx. And it was the first time in my house that I've had to have something delivered that showed up on a pallet and a 53-foot semi truck. I was like, damn, okay. So luckily the guy was cool and he let me pull my car out of the garage real quick, and I helped him push it all the way up in my garage so I didn't have to try to move it by myself or anything like that. Okay. Burr, burr, burr. We're burred all the way back. And that's sitting pretty good. Well, it's just the trash guys taking a joyride. I live in a tiny little town, and we already had our trash done, so it must be about almost quitting time, but the trash guys needed just a little bit more time to finish up their day, so I think they're out taking hot laps. But yeah, it was kind of like package overload for a little bit here at my house today, so the semi truck showed up. I'm all geeked out, you know, unwrapping and undoing and opening up my pit boss. And then not too long after that, like 20 minutes after that, the UPS guy shows up, and he's got this bad boy showing up. And I didn't know it, but my wife, she had a bunch of stuff show up via Amazon. And so the Amazon guy showed up about 10 minutes after the UPS guy. So it was like nonstop. It was like the day of packages at my house today. Which doesn't happen very often, but today it did. Okay. This is just such a beautiful knife. Like, you know how some knives just look sweet? This knife to me just looks sweet. I won't say it's quite as pretty as my Chris Reeve Nyala, the little fixed blade that I have, which that thing is that's the prettiest knife ever made. Whoa, man. Did you hear that? I just was a dumbass and had my finger like right here, and I just caught my fingernail on the edge of that. Wow, retard. Okay. But anyways, like I was saying, note to self to keep your fingers back from the cutting edge. You can tell it's been a while. I'm just out here willy-nilly doing whatever I want. Okay, that actually looks really good. Well, maybe right through here, it needs a little bit more of the bevel taken back, so I don't have what it needs more attention on the shoulder of the bevel. Like it's up to the cutting edge. But the bevel up to the shoulder needs opened up just a little bit. So we're gonna try to get that nice and consistent. But anyways, yeah, that Chris Reeve fixed blade that I have, that is the sexiest knife in the world. Don't hardly ever carry it. I probably should though, just because it makes me feel good when I have it. Okay. All right, we are burred all the way down. So I'm just gonna stop there with the 200 grit because I don't really wanna risk removing any more metal than necessary. So we'll just clean up our mess here and keep moving right along. Make sure we're tight. And take a slurp of beer. Granted, I just tried to cut myself, but this is my first beer, so. It'll be okay. Now it's just a matter of, now that I have my bevel set, I did all the hard work with my core stones. So now it's just a matter of not removing metal and all that kind of stuff. It's a matter of refining my final cutting edge. So basically what that means is I got my bevel set, my edge set with my core stone, and now it's just super light pressure, as light as I can. And we're just gonna shape this girl up. Feel for a burr. Perfect. This is going swimmingly. But yeah, I really excited about my pellet smoker. So I'm a big fan of charcoal grilling. I love charcoal grilling. And I've been like the guy that refuses to do anything other, like if it's got gas on it, I don't want anything to do with it. I'm like that guy. But I wanted to mix up a little bit of like what I can do for my share of the food cooking. So like I'm very fortunate, my wife, she does a lot of the day-to-day cooking, in particular in the winter, because it's, you know, I live in Iowa and it's freezing ass cold, snow drifts and that kind of stuff out here, and so she doesn't make me grill in the middle of winter, thankfully. But this might be a little bit different of a story now that I have my smoker. I don't know, it just opens up the world of possibilities a little bit. And it's something that I've been wanting to get into for about 6 or 7 years, but I just never could quite justify it in my head, I guess, for some reason. But me and some guys at work were talking about them a couple weeks ago. And yeah, basically there's 2 of them were really hounding me hard about it. They smoke everything. And like they're on their smoker probably 3-4 times a week. And they're basically, anyways, it got me off my ass and I ordered one. So I ended up, if you guys are curious, I ended up with a Pit Boss. It's the Navigator 1150 connected. So it's not like a top of the line one, but it's got all the stuff that you need. And it's like a mid-grade one. And I think it's a good size for what I'll be doing. And I think it's going to be awesome. And it's got the, I didn't realize this until a couple weeks ago, but the guys really hounded me to make sure that I got one with the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth so I can check on it and make adjustments to it via my phone, even if I'm not standing there next to it. So that's pretty cool. So I'm kind of excited to try all that out. But yeah, my goal is a brisket. I love brisket, and I just want to do some briskets. It's not just what I want to do, but that's the goal. And it also got me to get off my ass and finally get my latest new knife with this bad boy. So all is well. Okay, that is looking really, really, really quite well. So give me just a second and I'm gonna go grab my strops and I'll be right back. All right, here we go with the kangaroo strops. Basically all I'm doing here is burr removal. So you saw the last little bit that I did there with my 600 grit was to stand the burr straight up using alternating strokes. And so the burr is upright right now. And I'm going to use these bad boys to remove it and get it down to the fine cutting edge beneath. Mix it up, kind of come back at me to finish here. Do that one more time here. Okay, that is that. take this tape off here. Just leave it right there, maybe. Okay. Let's clean this baby up. My hands were really greasy. Like I said, I just got done assembling and seasoning that Pit Boss, so my hands are kind of grubby right now. And I got grubby fingerprints all over my brand new knife. Gotta get those off of there. Okay, let's take a look at this bad boy. There's my edge. Nice and uniform. Looking great. Okay, let's see how it does against the old trusty magazine. I still haven't bought one of those guns. I did buy a Colt government model though. Absolute plain Jane, 1911, 45. It's legit. So it gives me hammer bite like a son of a bitch, man. Anyways. Oh. You kidding me? Push cut. Okay. It's sharp. Cuts as good as it looks. And damn, does it look good. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Later.